Hello there! Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This week I thought we would visit the roots of this channel and do a good old-fashioned cooking tutorial. This is actually how this channel started. I originally started sharing recipes with my clients and my whole 3 subscribers. The channel's progressed a little bit from then, but I thought why not? If you checked out my video a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you my tips on how to approach a diet and how I approach dieting with my clients and also with myself. And in that video, because it was the end of what I would call my bulking season, where I was purposely trying to put on a bit of weight because I was trying to increase my muscle mass, I shared with you my last luxurious meal before I did my 6-week cut. I cooked Nigella Lawson, who is one of my favourite, my absolute go-to domestic goddess, and I prepared with you her lemon chicken in a pot and orzo pasta dish, and it was divine. The thing about that recipe, it was in full Nigella style, which is pretty hefty when it came to a caloric perspective. And since I'm in my 2nd week, going into my 3rd week of my cut, and I know a lot of you are probably trying to be a little bit more careful, start leaning up a little bit for summer, because we're all booking our summer holidays and we're all starting to shed 1 or 2 layers of clothing as the weather warms up, I decided to make one of Nigella's more leaner dishes. Now the thing with Nigella, if you also are a fan, is she loves all the more luxurious parts of life, so all the creams and butters and the goodness of whole sugars, and she puts all that in her recipes, which is delicious, and there's all a place for it in our diet. But I have an enormous appetite and I like to make quite voluminous foods. I like to be able to eat a lot. Today we're going to be making Nigella Lawson's Thai green turkey meatballs. I'm going to see if along the way I can make a few little tweaks, shave a few of the excess calories out of it without compromising too much the flavour. I love cooking with turkey. In fact, if you go through all my recipes, you will see that I have done like 5 or 6 different recipes, all using turkey. I just find it to be really versatile. It's a really mild flavour, so it really takes on the flavours of whatever cuisine you're cooking. So if you're having an Asian theme or Italian theme, it really absorbs all the flavours. I also really like it because it's high in protein. It is more affordable as a meat for those of us who maybe don't have such a large budget, so you can really do whatever you want to do with it. I forget where I'm going with this. I went off on a bit of a tangent about how much I like turkey. I actually don't eat that much in the way of meat anymore. I favour a more plant-based diet. I don't really like using the term plant-based. I just eat lots of vegetables, and I do prefer to get my protein from fish and maybe more vegetarian sources as well. I do eat dairy. I actually used to be a vegan and a raw vegan like years ago, 500 years ago, and then I was vegetarian for years. So I don't really call myself anything. I just eat food. I eat a little of what I like, a lot of what I like, and I also eat a good array of vegetables, of lean proteins, nuts, legumes, fruits. I'm getting tired and I can't think of all my food groups right now. Excellent for a nutritionist. Let's just say I have a very varied diet. Before we go and get into this video, might I invite you to hit that subscribe button if you do like my videos and join this little tribe, because it is growing and I'm enjoying putting out there content that is serving all of you. And if you look next to the subscribe button somewhere on the YouTube page, you will see there's a notification bell. If you just hit that, then you'll be alerted every time I have a new video. I post videos every single Thursday around 7 PM. So with all that being said, let's get cooking, and let's make ourselves some Thai turkey green meatballs. Not green meatballs, they will be in fact normal colour. I'll see you in the voiceover.
In the mere moments between filming my intro and now, I seem to have developed a cold, so please do bear with my super distressing husky voice. I shall do my best to do this voiceover justice. But here's a complete dish, and let me take you through how we went about it. You want 500 grams of lean turkey mince, coconut oil. I personally really love Vita Coco, and very often you will find it in sale. You'll also need some green curry paste. I've never used this brand before, but I found it in Waitrose. You also need some fresh ginger, some crushed chilies, as well as my favourite thing in the whole world, fish sauce. Nigella's original recipe actually called for a 400 gram can of coconut milk, but this is the tweak I'm going to make to this dish by using a small can of coconut cream and some coconut milk alternative. Grab yourself a bunch of sugar snap peas, some spring onions, and my favourite veg, 4 courgettes as well as a lime. Lurking in the background there was some Thai basil. You need a chicken stock of sorts. I only use kallo. I've also got my salted scales that you'll see here because I am measuring the macronutrients of this dish. I'll put all the recipe information, including the macros, in the description box below. Let's get started. The first thing I did was to mix up the coconut cream with the coconut milk. It isn't really necessary, but I'm quite a tidy cook and I like to be as prepared as possible before my pot hits the heat. Put the cream in your jug and measure out the coconut milk to meet 400 millilitres of combined coconut cream and milk. Mix it all together and set it to the side. Using just one of the courgettes, coarsely grate it. Courgettes are a very watery veg, so I used kitchen roll to squeeze a lot of the water out, just so when I was making my meatballs they would be a bit more compliant and not so watery. Whilst the courgettes were drying a little bit, I mixed up my stock. You just want to use one stock pot and add around 500 ml of water. Next thing to do is add your courgettes to your mixing bowl and then add the turkey mince in, breaking it up bit by bit. Finely chop the whites of the spring onions and save the green parts for later because we will be using them. I slice down the middle before chopping them up. Next, peel your ginger root before finely grating it. Add them to the meat and then grab your lime. I always roll limes before I use them to release the juices. You want to zest it before juicing it.
This is actually my parmesan grater, but I just think it's fab for zesting fruit. Grab the bunch of coriander and finely chop it. I prefer not to use a lot of the stems as I don't like the texture in dishes and there is no place for a stalk in a meatball. Add the coriander and the lime zest to the meat, as well as a generous pinch or two of salt, as well as the chilies. I forgot to mention the garlic before. So you want just one big fat clove of garlic and crush that into the mix as well. Now for the fun part. Either using a fork or your hands, I always favour using my hands, lightly process the mix. You don't want the meatballs to be too dense, so you really want to use as light a hand as possible and then just get rolling. I ended up with around 22 meatballs, but I made mine slightly on the larger side. Nigella actually recommends using 30 smaller meatballs. With the remaining 3 courgettes, I peeled off the skin in strips before cutting them into cubes around 1 centimetre each. I then chopped up the greens of the salad onions because they're actually going to be fried off in the coconut oil as the start to our sauce. I am using my trusty Le Creuset casserole dish, but any stove-proof pan or casserole dish will be perfect. First up, I heat up 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil and then saute the greens in before adding my Thai curry paste. This was actually quite a volatile moment. My agate was actually a little bit hotter than it is normally, so I nearly blew my head off doing this, but thank you to the magic of editing, we won't see me losing my eyebrows this day. I added a little of the floating coconut cream into the pan and mixed it all in with the onions and the Thai curry sauce. Once it's all sizzling away, grab your stock and add it to the pan. I actually put the fish sauce in already, I just didn't film it. And then add the coconut milk in and bring your sauce up to the boil. Once it's bubbling away, just throw in your courgettes and grab your meatballs, and then it's time to start dropping them in one by one in a circular motion away from the sides, keeping them all nice and loose and not really touching each other. You don't want them to stick. Once the last meatball is submerged, clamp your lid on and leave it to simmer for, I would say, around 20 to 25 minutes. After you've checked that they're all cooked through, grab your lime and throw the juice into the mix along with your sugar snap peas. And then you simply want to clamp the lid back on for another 6 or 7 minutes and you will have yourself a delicious meal. Because I didn't use full fat coconut milk, it doesn't have that beautiful thick and creamy colour and texture, but don't concern yourself, it is a very small aesthetic sacrifice and in no way did it compromise the taste of the dish. It in fact couldn't have been more flavourful if it tried. I served it up with steamed brown rice, which is perfect to absorb the gravy, and I topped it with the aromatic Thai basil, and there you have it. Nigella's Thai green turkey meatballs with a twist. I managed to cut out approximately 200 calories per portion with my coconut switch, so I'm very pleased with it. I am tempted to say that if you're entertaining guests, then perhaps you would want to use the full fat milk. However, this dish is really scrummy, so I think it's worth just sticking with my tweaks. My husband also loved it, but please don't mind Rem, he looks really grumpy there. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, as well as hitting that subscribe button, and as always, I will see you next Thursday. Thank you once again for joining me. Have a lovely week.